Hi everybody, today I'm at Disney's Art of Animation. We're going to take a look around at the grounds. I'm starting at the far end and I'm going to work my way all the way through the resort. They did a really nice job of theming the whole thing. We're on the end of the Art of Animation that has the cars, buildings 1, 2, and 3. And they did just an excellent job of theming it out. You'll see as we go through some of the other areas of the Art of Animation, the same thing. It carries on through, even though this is one of their, what do they call them, the budget resorts. Does a fantastic job. I actually got changed from where I was supposed to be, and they called it an upgrade because I was moved here to a lower level resort. However, I did get a suite, and I can tell you, I'm not disappointed at all. I've stayed at, the higher ends, the Grand Floridian and the Polynesian, the Contemporary. I was not disappointed at all with the Art of Animation. So this is the Well Motel. This is actually building number 1 of the cars section of Disney's Art of Animation. What's really cool about this area is they have all of the cars' characters at night. The lights are on, the headlights are lit up. And it's really interesting. If you can't get to California and see the Cars land, this is sort of a miniature version where at least you or the kids can pose with the cars. And right here you can see the Cozy Cone Motel. And by the way, the Cozy Cone Motel is actually what surrounds one of the 2 pools, and the cones are actually the cabanas. Here's Fillmore's. This is really great how all of these characters have their own spots. Sarge's Surplus Hut. Right around the corner, we see Sarge himself. This is really a nice touch how that sign actually rotates and spins just like it was a 1940s or 1950s motel. And everybody's favorite, Tow Mater. And there he is. And every entrance to every hotel building has some kind of a little display or a theme. For example, this one is Luigi's. You'll see them by Little Mermaid and by Lion King. They all have a wonderful themed entry. And as we move out, you see all of these characters from Cars. Very, very cool section of the Art of Animation. It's morning, you can still see the dew on the cars. That'll all evaporate before too long. I really think Cars is my favorite area because although the things aren't as massive in scope, you can actually get right in there and touch and climb around and get your pictures taken with all of these characters. And one last look back at Radiator Springs. Way down at the end, that's where we started, and that was the building that I'm staying at. Now as we move out of Cars into the Nemo area, you can see the seagulls, and right through there is the pool. We'll be taking a look at that in just a moment as we pass through. You can see it's a really big resort. We were just in this area. This is Radiator Springs. This is what they call Animation Hall. That's where they have the shops, they have the dining. I'll see if I can poke in there. This is the pool area, and this is Nemo. And we move on. We have Lion King, Little Mermaid, all the different areas. Really a big area spread out. There's Animation Hall. There's where we go to our shops. That's where the dining is, check-in, all of those things. And the drop-off is just their poolside kind of dining and drink area. I really didn't spend much time here, of course, because I'm at Walt Disney World and I was at the parks. Let's take a look at the pool. Now, the only thing they do not have here is a slide, but it really is a pretty nice looking pool. You can see the whole thing is Nemo themed with the jellyfish and the fountains. Oh, these things are really nice. We'll take a quick walk through Animation Hall, show you what that looks like. So everything, of course, is animation themed from this animation themed artwork. The shops are in this direction, and the check-in desks over here. And way in the back, I don't know if you can see that, way back there, there's a little area where they're playing the cartoons and kids can sit and watch, just sort of a lounge area. Here they have an arcade. And moving through, we have the shops. An area where you can get almost anything, souvenirs, sundries, snacks. And on the other side, you can see more souvenirs, t-shirts. I really like the food area. There's a lot of hustle and bustle, but all kinds of choices, and it's very casual. They have, of course, the soft drink dispensers, your coffee machines, large menu to choose from. It's all casual, counter service, but really nice. And we're at breakfast now, so the menu board is going to be focusing on breakfast. But they do have a lot. They do have lots and lots of different things, and each stand location has a different type of food. So this is kind of the grab-and-go stuff where they have prepared sandwiches, pastries. Over here, they have smoothies. And then you can see each one of these stations kind of focuses on a different thing. You have things like omelets, waffles. Depending on the time of day, they'll be making sandwiches here. Of course, right now they'll have the breakfast sandwiches. Really nice. And let's head back out and finish our tour. It's morning, so people are arriving, people are checking in, checking out, going for their breakfast. Now this is a different set of seagulls because this is the other side of the pool. And now we move on to a different land. Now we're moving into the Lion King. So you can see that the theming has changed. We see our jungle animals, our rock formations, and they call this area the Elephant Graveyard. And the great theming continues with Simba overlooking his kingdom. And a classic recreation from the film as they cross over the log. And this moves into, of course, some of the buildings where people are staying. And here's the Elephant Graveyard.
Really? You didn't stop her.
As we get into the scary portion, right? There's the hyenas. Great elephant skull. The tusks. Really impressive. And overseeing this end is the evil scar. And I'm leaving, but depending what direction you're coming, you could be arriving from this point, and you'd be greeted by the zoo. As we move on into a different themed area of Disney's Art of Animation. So to give you an idea of where we are, we started here, Radiator Springs. We passed through here. We looked at the pool. I didn't thoroughly examine Nemo, so I think we might go down there on the way back. Here's Animation Hall, where we have the meals, the gift shops. Then we went through the jungle. And now we're going to be heading up here. And this area is a Little Mermaid. So everything we see now is going to be under the sea. And let's put that in perspective. There's a little bit of the same theming as Nemo, because it is all ocean, except of course the characters are going to be different. And there we see King Triton looking over his kingdom. We'll get a better view of that as we move closer. Ooh, poor unfortunate soul. A lot of giant props from Ariel's collection as we move along. Of course, things she treasures are things from the land, and the things that we would treasure, she thought very little of. And there we have Prince Eric. And he's staring at the area that we just passed through. I'm going to walk all the way around this circle because we have Ursula looking at King Triton. This is so big I can't begin to tell you the massive scale. I mean, if you look at that, it is 4 stories tall. And it's Sebastian greeting everybody as they enter this area. And Ursula, every bit as big and massive as King Triton, facing one another on either sides of this passageway. And down here we have more of the singing and dancing fish. And this area has a pool as well. Of course, all guests of the Art of Animation can visit any of these pools. You'd probably be at the one that was closest to yourself. Of course, down here at the very end, we have Ariel. We'll walk over there and take a better look at her. And as we walk down our path, looking at the pool on this side,
Yes, seriously?
you can see we have more of the singing and dancing fish. Great theming. Really good theming here. As I look at these, they really aren't balconies. They are just the walkway, the entrances to the rooms. So rather than enter from the inside, they may have entry from the inside. I didn't walk inside the building, but the entrances here are almost like old-time motels. They're on the outside. And as we come along, we see the hero of the Little Mermaid, Ariel herself. For sheer size, these things are so impressive. Once again, 4 stories tall. Now, we're hearing a lot of noise. There's hustle and bustle in the morning as they're getting the grounds prepared. I found it to be very quiet over on the Cars end. Of course, on the Cars end, there's not a lot of stuff going on. As you get more to the center and around the Lion King and Nemo, might be a little more activity, there might be a little more noise, but I found it perfectly quiet, and I didn't have any problems with noise at all at this resort. Now, I went right down the center where you can see all of the theme portions. So this is a part that overlooks the lake. You can see it's very pretty. You can see Pop Century over on that side. Let's zoom in on that just a little bit. There's some of the Pop Century. You can see, I don't know how well you can make it out, but right about there you can see a giant yo-yo, and there's a Rubik's Cube. But this is really very pleasant as well, as the rooms look out onto the lake. Of course, I don't know how much you'd really be able to see. As I look up, I see those are really the entryway, the doors. You can see people are walking up there. That's how you'd enter your room, but there are windows that overlook that as well. So you have a choice. If you want to look over the lake, what's probably going to be happening is people will be walking right past your room as well. There are these huge murals that face over the lake towards Pop Century. We see one here of Ursula. And I don't know how well we'll be able to see it, but we see similar things for Nemo and Cars. Right through there it's kind of blocked, but you can see the Nemo mural. And then way over this way, if we can get through the trees, way past there is the Cars area. And there we get another view of Pop Century across the lake. And one more look at the Pop Century as we look at the Generation Gap Bridge that will carry us from one resort to the other. See, there's a wall there. There's some construction going on right now. And if you're coming here from across the bridge from Pop Century, this is the Grand Gateway that you would see, and it carries us through the Nemo area, the one area we haven't yet seen. And look at this, you can take a running trail around the entire lake, and you can be on the edge of both resorts. These are very interesting. Everything is three-dimension. Just like we saw three-dimensional cars and we saw three-dimensional items at the Little Mermaid, the fish and all, we see the same thing here. Only these three-dimensional items are attached to the walls. So it looks like they're swimming in the ocean. And what a great playland for the kids, huh? And on either side, once again, we can split off in either direction and see all of these great, enormous structures. And once again, we have a smaller pool over here. We were looking at this from the other side. He's so big, I can't even fit him in my frame. And this is right outside one of the entryways to the hotel buildings. Look how big he is. And you'll notice on either end of all of these are the grand displays. This is the Wheelwell Motel where I'm staying. It's, I believe, building number 2. And if I'm not mistaken, all of these might be suites. And you can see on the ends they have the major stars. You'll see, you know, Simba and Ariel and all of the big stars. Just like lightning. So there's our tour from one end to the other of the Art of Animation grounds. I believe they call these the budget resorts. They really are good quality resorts. I didn't know what to expect. As I said, my original reservation was canceled because they're doing construction and overbooking all kinds of things. So I got put here and they said it's an upgrade, so I got a suite over at the Cars. The suite means I have a separate bedroom and bathroom, as well as the main room that had a pull-out bed, a Murphy bed that folded up in the wall, and another full bath. I liked it. And let's face it, when you come to a resort, how much time do you spend in your room anyway? But there you have it. Now you have a little idea of what it's like to stay at the Art of Animation. I'm Mark with the Average Me channel. Thanks for joining me.